Hey, Doc, do you ever feel like once you've reached a certain level of success, you should have it all figured out, and yet you look around and you still feel like you're wandering? When you first started in medical school or you first started in your career, the next step seems so clear. But for so many that we work with, once they get far in and they think they've reached the top, they look around and they still feel a little lost. There's a lack of clarity. There's a wondering of what is this all for? Or what is next? And so Joe and I were just talking about a real life experience he had that made us think of our members. And so, Joe, tell us that story, and then we're going to get into how our membership actually solves this.
Yeah, I had the opportunity. I was asked by my brother-in-law to help pace him on a 100-mile race that he did down in San Diego, and he's done a bunch of these. He's an incredible human being, and it's always fun to get to support him. And I run with him on the longest section of a pacer. I pick him up. This is the second time I've done this. Pick him up. It's mile forward. I think it's mile 41 for him. So he's 41 miles into the race when I start with him. And then I run a 24-mile segment with him. And there's no other crude support along the way. And it also happens to be as it's turning to night, typically by the time that we get there. And on this race, this one is the San Diego one. I think it's just called the San Diego 100 or something like that, SD 100. And they mark the trail. So this whole 100-mile race, there's markers as you go. In the daytime, they're easy to see because they're bright orange. And then at nighttime, it's awesome because they put this highly reflective tape and your headlamps kind of pick them up way far away. But there were multiple times as we were going, again, he's deep into the race and it's dark, it's nighttime, and you're in the wilderness. And all of a sudden you're like, hey, how long ago was the last marker that we had? And are we still even on the right? Are we on the right trail, or did we take a wrong turn somewhere? And I feel like it's so nice in the race. You just keep going. And then eventually, yes, there's a new marker. And it's not like every mile they mark it. Like maybe they're playing games with the people who are participating, but it's like, there's always this question of, am I still on the right trail? Or at what point do I need to go back and go to the last place where I knew I was on the right track? And so that's kind of what we were talking about is, at the level of success that most of the people we work with, they had a clear path to get to where they are now. But at that level of success, it feels sometimes a little bit nebulous and it feels like wandering, like what's next? Where do I go? And so I think this concept of like creating alignment in your life, not just financially, although that's what we'll talk about today. This is in all areas of life. This is across what we call the 5 10: spiritual, family, business, financial, and fitness. Having clarity, creating clarity about that next step. So that was the experience that we were talking about. It felt like very appropriate for our members.
And I had several members come to mind when we were having this conversation. And one recently said it so clearly how he's been working for 20 years. And now that he's reached a point where he is making more than he ever thought he would make, and he's actually having to work fewer hours to make the same amount. So he's starting to scale back, but then he's looking around and realizing that the fewer hours I work, the less value I feel in myself, because for 20 years, I have placed my value in how much I work and how high I rose. And now that I'm here, it doesn't feel as fulfilling as I thought it would. And I don't know where else my purpose lies. And so I really need to figure that out, because he's right in that middle spot where he's been going a long time, but retirement or that freedom point is still quite a ways away. So it's like, that's such a good time to regroup and think, what is this all for and what's going to keep me going?
Yeah.
So that's where our membership model is. He's so excited about it.
Yeah. And I think, for anybody who goes into our discovery program, we have a process called the Freedom Roadmap. And in the Freedom Roadmap, we help you identify how to put goals in place financially and really what it's all about. It really is a legacy opportunity. How do I create that? Because as we've worked with so many doctors, both who've become members and doctors that we've just seen kind of into their life and the chaos that can be existing in there, a lot of it is because when you hit that level of success and now that's the new norm, you're making $1 million a year, you're making a ton of money every year. That is your new norm. Part of the reason why it's not fulfilling is because it's just normal for you. to other people, they aspirationally look at that and just be like, oh, how amazing would it be? So yeah, maybe take a moment and just go, okay, I've got it really good, right? It's like, it's okay to revel in that for a moment.
Mhm.
But what's not okay, I think, is to continue to wander and to continue to not feel clarity about where you want to go. So that's the purpose of what we're talking about. When we talk about financial alignment, that's one of the three core principles that we live by. What we know is that's unusual. What you're typically doing is you're taking money and you're just kind of pouring it in and you're chasing return on investment, really with no regard whatsoever to the outcome that can be a result of that. So deeper tax consequences and misaligned, direction financially. So I just think, and again, this is important to do across all of the spectrum of life. But financially, it's really, really critical that you do this. Like, take time to identify these are the key factors that I've got to hit. We call it, the penultimate one for us is what we call the freedom point. It's the moment where your assets are now out producing your ability to generate income. It is freedom. Like, you get to work because you want to, not because you have to. So identify that first. But then the other financial goals that you have, create clarity around, set a target date, an amount of money, name the goal, how you're feeling about it. Like, all those things matter. And I think a lot of people they want to gloss over that. They don't
Mhm.
want to take the time to create that clarity. And I'm telling you, you can create it. You must create it unless you want to just live continually in this wilderness that hopefully I find something that's meaningful in all this.
And another part of our process is beyond the goals is now getting a handle on where you are currently in your financial life. And we've
Mm,
talked about how we do that on our member atlas. And most people have never, I mean, we have a couple type A's who come to us with a spreadsheet of their entire financial life. They're very on the ball, but I would say 90% of our members do not have anything like that. And so we help them put everything in one place. And part of that is their spending. And
mm,
this takes some work for people to identify how much am I spending in all these different categories. And this one member that I just spoke of, I said, what's your primary goal here? And because he scored himself low financially, even though he's making the most money he's ever made. And he's like, I need to lower my tax bill, of course, but I need to spend less too. And so he doesn't even know where to start when it comes to spending less because he doesn't even know what he's spending his money on. So we
wandering.
are,
He's wandering,
yes.
right?
And so we're going through that process right now of helping him identify it. And he's like, oh, I didn't even realize that. And then I was mentioning another member to you where he said, well, can you just like log into my Monarch and pull the numbers for me? And I had to tell him, no, the whole point of this is for you to know the information, not
Mm,
me. Like, yes, you're going to report that to me, but we want you to have the clarity because until you know where you're starting from, you can't make a good plan for where you wanna go.
right. I think that's the big thing is like, I've preached this for years. The two most important points on any map, if you're using it for an expedition, is obviously where you want to go. Most people have some idea of where they want to go, whether it's retirement or whatever it might be.
Mhm.
But the other most important point is, where are you now? And that's where I've found in my career, very few people have crystal clarity on where they are now. How do you even know where to start? How do you know which compass direction to go? If you don't know where you're at. So, I really think the triad of what we work in, the financial alignment triad, is such a critical one. When members start with us, that is like the first place that we start because it helps us to a certain degree. It helps us triage and get the big things that are like causing major hindrances under control, so that we can create clarity for where they want to go. So I think the bottom line of this is congratulations, you've hit a level of success that most people will only dream of, and you recognize that there's not necessarily fulfillment in that alone. So it is creating what's next for you. Don't choose to just wander aimlessly for the rest of your life. As enjoyable as it is, you can create purpose and clarity behind that. And if you're up for that challenge, um, drop a message in the comments, let us know, and we can send you some resources to actually help create a tremendous amount of this clarity for you.
Thanks, Joe. So, Doc, if you feel like you are wandering a little bit at the peak of your career and looking ahead and just thinking that you don't have quite enough clarity on where you are now or where you want to be going, or you're listening and you still know that you're just leaving way too much money on the table when it comes to taxes every year, you know we can help. And we have actually put together a free training that will walk you through your numbers and share with you exactly how we do this for our members. So we will drop the link below. We encourage you to check it out, and we look forward to hearing what you think.
It's like we put the little markers on the trail for you. So choose to get on the trail or know that we got you.
There you go. Thank you so much for listening. And until next time, go be a wealth maverick.